Welcome into the In the Money podcast for KeenelandSelect.com. Tom Leach here along with Keeneland's director of simulcasting, Jim Goodman, back from a run at the National Handicapping Tournament and finished a little above mid-pack, so a good solid performance and a lot of woulda, coulda, shouldas.
Always a lot of woulda, coulda, shouldas. And a couple that could have put me in the top 50, but I didn't make it, but I did beat about 300 people, so that wasn't too bad. It was a great experience.
And how often do you guys, just for folks that are listening can know this, how often do you guys have qualifiers for that?
We have 3 qualifiers at Keeneland. There are 2 of them that are $3,000 buy-in tournaments. The one's in the spring and one's in the fall, and those Grade 1 Gamble in the fall gives away 5 spots, or Grade 1 Gamble in the spring gives away 5 NHC spots, plus about $20,000 for first place. And then the one in the fall is the BC qualifier, and you get spots in the BC tournament, which is a $10,000 buy-in plus the NHC. In July, we have a tournament that's $190 entry fee. That's a $2 win place format, and we'll give away either 5 or 6 spots there. So we actually give away 16 spots for those 3 tournaments.
So just, folks, stay advised of that if you like to play in those contests. Let's get to our lineup of stakes races today. Well, first, Jonathan filled in for you last week. Had 3 winners, including a $10 horse out at Santa Anita, Scherzer.
He sent me an email letting me know that he did that. Yeah.
So that was nice, and he had, I think, Cloudscapes as a pick. He had it picked second in the Endeavor and won at a decent price. So pressure's on you back from Vegas.
Not a problem.
Let's go to Gulfstream. The 10th race is the Grade 3 Hutcheson, and we have several races for 3-year-olds on the Derby Trail this weekend, this Saturday. 7 furlong Hutcheson, and in here we have a couple of Pletcher horses that are light on experience and a couple of others that have a little experience. Where'd you go?
I went to Wildcat Red, the non-Pletcher horse. Horse is 2 for 4 at Gulfstream, and the other 2 he finished, got disqualified, and he finished second by head. So he's a head away from being undefeated in 4 races at Gulfstream, which is going to be very important. One of the things you need to watch at Gulfstream, as we're taping this today, the track is very sloppy, has been for a couple of days. So you might want to take a look at that will make a big difference in this 7 furlong sprint. But I like Wildcat Red. Picks up Castellano, and that's about 5 lengths over Paco Lopez from the last trip he had. So I like CZ to finish second, stretches out for 6 furlongs after a good effort in a spectacular bid. And the third horse I picked was Pablo Del Monte for Wesley Ward. It's an improving sort that ran behind General A-Rod in the Gulfstream Park Derby last time out, and shortening up from a mile, which is a nice, maybe has a little more endurance. And if he runs back to that race here at Keeneland in October, we got a 90 buyer and won by 7.5, I think he's got a shot. So Pablo Del Monte is my third choice.
I'm going to take a big old wild swing on Tashir, the 9 horse in here, 20-1 on the morning line. But off a layoff, ran a 93 buyer at Calder, and just such a huge improvement. And I always, if a horse just goes wire to wire and with a big buyer jump, then I think, well, that could be a fluke. But if they pass some horses, I tend to usually think it's legit. And a 93 buyer, if this horse can run back to that, then he could be in the mix. Connections that are low profile, so you get a good price. And he's got a lot of experience in a field that I wasn't wild about any standouts in here. So I'm going to take Tashir and then key him in exactas. Gambler's Ghost, Trailblazer, Viseramos, the latter 2 being from the Pletcher barn. So some lightly raced horses that I'm going to play with Tashir and just go for a big old swing there on a 20-1 shot. Tampa Bay.
Russian swing.
That's right. Tampa Bay has 2 stakes races, a couple of Grade 3s. Their 9th race is the Grade 3 Sam F. Davis for 3-year-olds at a mile and a 16th leading up to the Tampa Bay Derby. And I think Harpoon for Pletcher probably is the favorite in here. Vinceramos is also entered in this spot, so could go here instead of the Hutcheson. But I ended up going to Cousin Stephen for Chad Brown. This horse ran an improved race in his 3-year-old debut, and it may be camouflaged a little bit by the fact that he ran behind Commissioner and Top Billing. It was a really highly regarded allowance or maiden race, and then Top Billing came out of this and broke his maiden very impressively next time out. So Cousin Stephen caught a really tough bunch and working well, and I think could take this. So I'll use him with Harpoon, Vinceramos, and Matador from the Cassie barn. But Cousin Stevens, the pick to win here. What about you?
Me too. I thought Top Billing looked as good, if not better, than Cairo Prince on Saturday, and that was one of the races in the tournament. And obviously, I couldn't use Top Billing at even money, but he was the lock of the day, and he looked great. I think Shug really likes him, and Cousin Stephen ran 2 lengths behind Top Billing. I think that's going to be good enough to win this race easily. Noble Cornerstone is my second choice. He should have won the $250,000 springboard last time out at Remington Park. DeSormo's riding really good right now. DeSormo went out west and won a couple races this weekend. Harpoon is the third choice, very consistent, and ran 3 behind Cairo Prince. So this time of year, you look for horses that have run against the best of the generation. And Cairo Prince, to me, and Top Billing are the top 2 horses right now on Derby Trail. So I think this is a nice race, and I think Cousin Stephen is the choice as well.
Let's go to the 10th race, Grade 3 Tampa Bay Stakes. 4-year-olds it up on the turf at 1 mile and a 16th. Salto's the big favorite here for Pletcher. Going to try to beat him?
I like Salto, but I like 3 horses pretty much equally here. So if I were playing a multiple leg wager, I would certainly use all 3. I'm going to guess that Shug McGahee has Seal Code ready. I mean, the horse has had a lot of layoffs. When he runs, he's good. He's 6 for 11, and you look at, last year he runs in January, April, and July. That's a bad sign because he's obviously had some health issues. But the good sign is every time he comes back, he's okay. He runs well off a layoff. I'm going to assume that Shug has him ready here, and I'm going to pick a little bit of an upset. Rocco's riding well right now too. I like Guys Reward with lots of back class, and the other, or Salto, is probably going to be 8-5 if I had to guess in here. I didn't see what the morning lines were when I handicapped it, but Salto is a big favorite, but I think he's beatable in here. It's a nice race, and I'm going to take Shug McGahee to win this one with Seal Cove.
I'm going to go for Philly Ace, who ran behind Salto last time. That was his first start off a real long layoff. Clement's 32% second off that long layoff. Horse is 6 of 13 lifetime on the turf, so he likes to win. 3 really good works since that race off a layoff, and so I like that work pattern. So I'm going to try Philly Ace for the upset here of Salto. I'd key Philly Ace with Salto. And then a couple of 4-year-olds who flashed a little promise last year that I'm going to try, Looking Cool and Golden Share. But Philly Ace is the pick for me. Aqueduct has the Grade 3 Withers. I tell you, let's go to the 6th race first. It's the Grade 3 Toboggan for 3-year-olds and up at 6 furlongs. Strapping Groom coming off a 110 Buyers, the big favorite here. I'm going to try to beat him, maybe bounces a little bit. Candyman E is a recent claim for Jacobson, and now is running second start for the new barn, and has some back class that if he could get back to that level, could have a shot at this. 9 for 20 lifetime win record, which I like. So I'm going to just do an exacta box with those 2 and take Candyman E to win. What about you?
If Strapping Groom gets an easy lead, it's over. But I'm thinking that there's a chance that some of these other horses, Dad's Caps may run with him, Candyman E may run with him. But what I'm taking a shot at is either Candyman E or Nonstop, the 4-horse. They have the right style to pick up the pieces if it falls apart. I would think Strapping Groom is going to be a deserving favorite, but Nonstop possibly, Candyman E possibly. So I would take those at a price certainly because Strapping Groom is probably going to be 2-5.
Let's go to the 9th race now. It's another race for 3-year-olds. The Withers, Grade 3 mile and a 16th. The race that used to be run in the spring at a mile. Now they've moved it up as a Derby prep instead of what it used to be was kind of a Preakness prep. And in here you've got a couple of horses coming out of maiden wins in restricted company that were romping winners that figured to vie for favoritism. Did you go for one of those 2?
I did not. I went for the horse with a little more experience, and I'm not even sure how to pronounce it, but Classic Gianconroll.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe. Out of Giacomo, so maybe it's Jock and Roll instead of Rock and Roll. Maybe that's it. Jock and Roll. Classic Jock and Roll. I figured it out finally. I was sitting there last night, and I couldn't figure out how to pronounce it. Horse ran in the Jerome, two lengths behind Noble Moon. Scotland comes out of the same race, the 3-horse. It looks like to me these buyers for the 1 and the 5 are just. I mean, the 5 is not running against anybody, obviously, and Samraat, if he runs back to a 95, he probably wins. But Uncle Sigh had a 93 and a 95 coming out of a maiden special weight. I think they're going to get overbet, and I'm going to take the horse with more stakes experience, Classic Jock and Roll.
I'm going to take a maiden winner, but it's not one of the 2 favorites. Street Gent he won in maiden company against open company, and is improving. And I think you get a pretty good price. A lot of two-turn experience for this. It picks up a top rider too, which I like. So Street Gent for Large Yamati is my pick, and I'll use him with in exactas with Uncle Sigh, Samraat, and Scotland. Street Gent is the pick for the win. Santa Anita has a couple of graded stakes races. The seventh race is a Grade 1, the Las Virgenes, 3-year-old fillies at a mile. And you got Baffert, Hollendorfer squaring off in here, and Sadler. Who'd you take?
Well, it looks like a match race between Hollendorfer and Baffert, but I'm going to take Artemis. I really like the way Mike Smith is riding right now, even though I didn't tell you this before, but he cost me a pick 6 at Santa Anita on Sunday. I figured him in the feature race. Yes, and anyway, I hit to pick 4, so I got 5 out of 6 on pick 6. But he takes Hollendorfer's horse, Artemis, and I think he's proven at Santa Anita. That's one of the things that I'm not sure about. Tastes Like Candy ran well in the Santa Inez last time out at Santa Anita, but Streaming hasn't run at Santa Anita, so I'm a little bit leery of that, even though she looked awfully good. So I'm going to take Artemis in a little bit of an upset, just trying to get a price. Faster Plate also intrigues me a little bit, because that last race at Santa Anita, and Gary Stevens is riding as well as anybody in the country. So Fashion Plate with that 6-length lead, I'm going to take those two over the obvious favorites.
Let's go to the 8th race, the Grade 2 Arcadia, 4-year-olds and up on the turf at a flat mile. And
who'd you like in the Las Virgenes?
Oh, sorry. I forgot. I thought I'd already gone. Streaming. I liked Baffert. Okay. Right. 2 for 2 and some really sharp works that looked like ready to go. And so I didn't get too creative in here. Use her with Taste Like Candy, the 7, and your horse Artemis, the 4. Now to the Grade 2 Arcadia, and thought a pretty good betting race here. Where did you end up going?
This is a great race. I think this is the best race of the day. If you look at Unbridled's note, she could have won the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint the last couple of years. She got beat by Misdirection both times. Regally Ready is intriguing. Got a lot of upside. I think Mike Smith could try to steal it, but I went with Winning Prize. And one of my angles that you probably realize if you listen to me every week is I love horses that ran against the best horses. And Winning Prize, the last 2 races, got beat by Silvermax, Wise Dan, Silentio, and Summerfront. Not a bad company to keep, and almost beat Silentio in the citation at Hollywood Park. So another angle, I like horses coming out of Keeneland. Ran okay on the poly track when the Shadwell turf got rained off here behind Silvermax and Wise Dan. Shipped back to the West Coast and ran well in the citation. I'm going to take Winning Prize here with Bejarano over Unbridled's note, Regally Ready.
There were a couple of horses in here that I picked in races last late summer and fall that didn't fire, and Procurement and Sea Sage, and then they both ran big last time in a Grade 2 and had improved numbers, about 10 points in particular for Procurement. So I think both of those are live at prices. I think Procurement's 12 to 1 on the morning line. Sea Sage is 20. I ended up going to Suggestive Boy. Long layoff, but McAnally's workout pattern suggests to me that he's got this one ready. Loves Santa Anita, loves the 1 mile distance. So I like the spot that they've picked here. So I'm going to take Suggestive Boy, but I'm going to use him in a 3-horse exacta box with Sea Sage and Procurement. And if I went to a 4-horse box, I'd use one of those of your group and maybe Regally Ready. I think this is a race where there's a good chance to try to pick up a price. It's a good, proverbial good betting race. But Suggestive Boy is going to be my pick in the Arcadia. So that's it for our look at some of the key stakes races on the Saturday card. Get anything special coming up for Super Bowl Sunday at Keeneland?
We do what we call turf and tackle. So we'll I'll pick 3 races on Sunday, and you'll pick the winners of the 3 races plus the winner of Super Bowl, and we'll give away $1,000. So if you're the only person picking all 3 races plus the winner of Super Bowl, you get $1,000. It's a free contest. All you got to do is show up and sign up before the races will run after 4 o'clock. So you got to come out and sign up by 4. The races will run between 4 and 6 o'clock, and then the Super Bowl. So that's coming up. And then Friday, we have our Turfway contest if Turfway doesn't cancel. When I was in Vegas, Turfway canceled, Delta Downs and Penn National all canceled last Friday, so we missed last Friday. But we had a nice crowd 2 weeks ago. We've been having over 100 entrants there, and first place last 2 weeks ago was $1,500. Cost you $30. We feed you, give you a program, and get a chance to win $1,500. So not a bad deal for a Friday night at Keeneland.
Sounds like a plan. For Jim Goodman, I'm Tom Leach, and this is the In the Money podcast for KeenelandSelect.com.